I found out after 13 years that my wife lied to me in the beginning of our relationship. How can I let this go? I have been in a relationship with my wife for 13 years, married for 8, and we haven't had any major fights. We've always gotten along well, only respectful discussions when we happen to disagree on something. I love her very much, and I can't imagine my life without her. However, just last week, I discovered that my wife had lied to me about her being with other people at the start of our relationship. Here's the backstory. We were friends during our time at university, and she had just broken up with her toxic and abusive ex at that time. We used to hang out frequently with other friends, going to bars and having a great connection. About 2 months after her breakup, we went to a concert together where kissed. After that, we started going out as just the two of us quite often, and it was clear to me that I was falling for her. At that point, we hadn't explicitly discussed whether we were exclusive or not. To be honest, I assumed she was seeing other people, given that we were young and in college, and I thought it was normal for her to explore other relationships after her recent breakup. It's important to note that I wasn't dating anyone else during this time, my choice, didn't tell her and wasn't expecting her to do the same. As our relationship progressed, I asked her to be my GF, which she happily accepted. We became exclusive at that point. We're both a bit forgetful when it comes to dates, so sometime later, I realized I couldn't recall the exact date I asked her to be my girlfriend. I approached her, and she couldn't remember either. We both laughed at ourselves, and I tried to guess the date. She then suggested, "Why don't we consider the date of our first kiss as the start?" I thought it was a perfect idea but also pointed out that we weren't exclusive back then, so if she had dated other people after that, it might be a bit awkward for me. She then told me that after that day, she hadn't kissed, hooked up with, or gone out with anyone else because she was already in love with me. I was overjoyed by this revelation, and it only deepened my feelings for her. However, last week, while we were at a family barbecue gathering at her mother's house, her brother mentioned how relieved he was that I was his brother-in-law instead of that idiot Robert, fake name. He recalled seeing them go out once and was glad when we announced our relationship to the family. I immediately sensed my wife's discomfort, and it was clear she felt caught. Later, when we returned home, I asked her about Robert, and she revealed that he was someone she dated a few times after breaking up with her ex. I asked if she kept seeing him after our kiss at the concert, and she confirmed that she did. When I pressed further, she admitted that they had also slept together. I felt a wave of conflicting emotions, akin to feeling cheated, even though we weren't explicitly exclusive at the time. It made me question my reaction, and I felt somewhat ridiculous for feeling this way. She apologized, explaining that she hadn't disclosed this information out of fear of losing me due to a casual encounter she had after we had become involved. I reassured her that I understood we hadn't been exclusive, and I wouldn't have been bothered by it if she had been honest from the beginning. However, I admitted that I was now grappling with the fact that she had kept this from me all these years. She's deeply remorseful and constantly worries that I might leave her, which I have no intention of doing. Nevertheless, I find myself struggling to overcome these mixed emotions. I can't help but feel that I shouldn't be upset about something like this, but I can't control the way I feel. How can I move past this? Edit 2. I'm putting this on top of the other because some people don't seem to understand that I am not looking for a divorce. There are lots of comments saying, "Why are you throwing away 13 years of marriage because of?" I am not throwing anything away. I came here looking for advice on how to get past it. How do I deal with it? Yes, I do therapy, and I am dealing with this in therapy, but it has not been easy on me, so I came on the internet looking for advice, probably a mistake. Edit. I feel like the timeline of events got a bit confusing from the way I wrote this. I apologize. Let me try to break down the events, without specific date, but just so you can get the idea. Feb/2009, we became friends at university. March/2010 she broke up with her ex. May/2010, we kissed at the concert, and kept going out and hooking up every now and then, but weren't exclusive. June/2010, she hooked up with Robert. July/2010, I asked her to be my GF, she said yes and we became exclusive. Sep/2010, I asked her if she remembered when I asked her to be my GF, and we decided to keep the concert date as the start of our relationship, because, I thought/ was told, we both have been saying only each other since then. Comment. Sounds like a dumb thing a 20-year-old says because they're embarrassed, then never fixes because they feel too guilty over something stupid. If this is the worst thing she's ever done to you, I'd say it's pretty safe to let it go and move on. If it doesn't even rank in the top 10 worst things, then there might be a bigger picture to consider. This. She probably regretted the hookup with that idiot Robert, so she just plowed over it. As a woman, I read that as more it really didn't matter to me and I'm embarrassed by it, I'll pretend it never happened and better lie to my BF about this dude. Exactly. She hasn't been lying the whole time. She likely forgot. I remember one time a friend of mine mentioned a guy I dated a few months off and on. It took me a minute because it was 10 years ago and I tell you I forgot entirely that he existed and we dated. It came back, but even I was surprised at how fast my mind ejected memories of that absolute numpty. Agreed, my husband and I have a very similar story to Ops, and it's like sure. He was overlapping another girl and I while we first started talking. Even though it felt exclusive to me and I was for sure exclusive with him, it still stung when I think there was a time he saw the other woman. It was soon cut off when we did actually officially talk about it, just hurt that I thought he'd cut things off sooner. We have been together 8 years and married for 3. Def not worth the hassle thinking about the silly overlap, and it honestly doesn't bother me anymore. Agreed. She wanted an easy date for them to remember, it was a special night, and she only had feelings for him and regretted seeing this other guy and was embarrassed by it. She has been faithful. Yeah, like, I get being thrown for a moment, but as Op lays out the timeline and the revelation of her seeing someone else before they were exclusive, I am honestly concerned that he is so obsessed with this. This sounds like such an odd thing to be so hung up on. But Op isn't concerned about his wife being unfaithful, his problem is the fact that his wife lied to him about dating other people when he asked. Either way, I don't think this is really a big deal. Yeah, there's lots of little and frankly inconsequential nuance. It was probably both a choice of convenience and a small way of romanticizing their origin story. It came with a slightly uncomfortable truth that in the context of a burgeoning relationship is a very forgivable omission. Add into the mix it's so small an omission that it's not like Op's wife has been actively keeping the secret all this time. Next story 2. I am thinking of leaving my disinterested husband. I've been with my husband for 6 years, married for 3. We own a home as well as multiple pets, but are strictly child-free. I am needing advice on 1. If I am being extreme, and 2. How to break it to him. I am a go-getter in life, and have climbed the corporate ladder with zero schooling and simply hard work. My husband attended school for 6 years and achieved an associate's degree. I am in no way looking down on his achievement in school, I am happy he attended and was able to accomplish what he has done. My problem lies in the aftermath of time he has had to grow, and the stasis he's kept himself in. My husband works a job that has no growth, no raises, and no interest in him as a person with drive. He self-proclaims he is content, while I have to work hard to support us with our huge salary gap. I make double he does. As time has passed and we purchased a home and other landmarks, he has refused to try and step up in any manner to help me. At one point I asked him if he could at least maybe pick up on more chores to help me out, since I was desperate to feel any sense of fairness in our day-to-day. He refuses to do any extra work. All repairs/services/ any sort of issue in our lives falls solely to me, since I am better at figuring things out than him. All phone calls, scheduling, problems all fall to me to handle, while his day-to-day consists solely of video games. I have even tried to get him into other hobbies. I'm a gamer too, but I think you need to spread your wings past just that, but he claims he has no other interest in life. I have had multiple conversations, and by multiple I mean practically every 3 to 4 months for 2 years, I have these come to Jesus talks, trying to get him to step up his game. We don't even do holidays anymore because I would buy him gifts, where he would get nothing and claim he didn't like what I asked for. We spend absolutely zero time together outside of getting food or small talk throughout the day, even though we both work from home. I am getting to a place where I'd rather hang out with my online friends than spend any alone time with him. I make up stories about him and I having good times to my friends, so that they don't have concern for me and they can like him. He is happy to have me go to my best friends for all my emotional support, since it's not his forte. We don't text, and when I was out of state for a week he literally did not message me once. I went to him after an anxiety attack 2 weeks ago, and he didn't even give me attention until I called him out for it. When we talk, I have to actively ask him to say something, or else he will just sit there spacing out, not acknowledging my speaking at all. Our physical relationship is zero, and for many years I thought I may be asexual, but now I am beginning to wonder if I am just incredibly unhappy with him. I feel like I have given it every chance I can, have tried to set him up for success time and time again, only for his laziness to win out. I have had all the counseling conversations, but I'm always met with, "I'll try to be better," only for nothing to change. Is this a lost hope? I dropped the bomb last week telling him I was on my last chance, and he's been trying this past week to be better. Even with his efforts, I feel so apathetic to it all and I have zero trust that it'll be fixed this time. He's been so happy and jovial, it hurts me to think that I am going to drop the divorce word on him and hurt him. I know he loves me and considers me the greatest thing to happen to him, but I can't help but feel he's something that's holding me back. Any advice on 1. What to do here and 2. If I should separate, how to talk to him, would be greatly appreciated. Comment. There have been all kinds of studies showing men get all the benefits of marriage and live happier lives when they get married, and it's just not the same for women. Too many men, I get it, not all of them, but a lot, get married knowing they aren't going to do a damn thing for the actual relationship, they're just going to let their wife do literally everything. They get a live-in secretary / sex doll / chef / maid / mother all wrapped up into one. Men will often get a raise at work and be taken more seriously by their boss when they get married. They live longer lifespans. I mean, they reap all the benefits of marriage. If you think about it, men should literally beg their girlfriends to marry them and treat them like royalty if only so they can keep this cushy life they got with her. Instead, out of pure laziness, they self-sabotage. Right, he is so happy and life is great for him because he doesn't have any burdens. He can come home, sit back and play fucking video games. This is awful up. You deserve better based on what you are saying about your accomplishments and effort. Has he always been like this? He def needs to step up. You are bored and romance is essential to any relationship. I don't have the perfect relationship but mine helps around the house, is extremely motivated to provide and always pays for our dates, we go out once per week, we live together too and only have 4 babies. I am grateful he is not like this. Imagine how he would be with kids. Get rid of him and don't feel bad about it. I think you know what to do. Before you do anything though, make sure you'll get out untouched legally and financially, talk to a lawyer and get a professional advice. But you have to get out of this relationship ASAP. You're still young, don't waste your best years on someone who clearly doesn't value you or makes you happy. You deserve way better. But purposely being lazy and using weaponized incompetence to turn his wife into his mother-made wife is malicious when you've complained to him many times about the unfair balance. And see how he's suddenly trying to help out more now that you told him you are thinking of leaving him. He's showing you that he could have helped you all along but he just didn't want to. See how being a responsible adult is something you just have to do? He thinks it's a choice he can make and to put all the burden on you. Oh, and his efforts right now? It's called hysterical bonding. He'll make just enough effort until he knows you aren't leaving him and then he will go back to his old ways. He's only helping you right now out of selfishness. He doesn't want to lose the benefits of having a mother, maid, and wife in one package. He doesn't have a malicious bone in his body, but he won't pick up extra chores when you are literally the breadwinner. BTW, the saying "you're better at figuring things out" is weaponized incompetence. Do not give this man 50/50ths when you are making 100% of an effort to save your relationship and he has given you 0. My divorce was contentious in the beginning but towards the end we used a therapist to mediate and we decided to divorce out of kindness and do everything we could for the benefit of our kids. We're good friends today. It's really weird. But divorcing with kindness like you describe above shows your character. You could even do it in therapy. They make things so much easier with the boundaries they teach.